All right, let's work on some diamond problems. So remember, the rule of the diamond problem is the two side numbers multiply together to make the top number, and they add together to make the bottom number. So when you have a situation like this where you're given the top number and the bottom number, it's best to just start with factors. So my factors of 15, if I just think through them, what times what makes 15? I know 1 times 15 makes 15, and I know 3 times 5 makes 15. And so right away I can see a pair that works. So since 3 times 5 is 15 and 3 plus 5 is 8, I have found my numbers. So we're gonna do 3 and 5 right there. All right, for this next one, this one is kind of like the easiest setup. So they give you the two side numbers and all you have to do is multiply them together. So 3 times 1 is 3, that goes up here, and then you add them. 3 plus 1 is 4, I can't write, there you go. So that's like the easiest setup. For this one, there's a couple ways to think through it. Right away, I still like to think about factors. So when I've got my top number, I think about what times what is 10. Well, I know from just mental math that 5 times 2 is 10. But if you don't just see that by looking at it, a strategy is to divide. Since I need to know this times this makes this, then dividing will give you that number. So you could do 10 divided by 5 to find that number, okay? So 2 goes there. And then once I have my two side numbers, I just add them together. 5 plus 2 is 7. There you go. All right, this one has fractions. This is where it gets a little trickier. You gotta think back to whenever you learned about fractions, however many years ago, right? So when you're multiplying fractions, 1/2 times 1/3, though, whoops, I'm trying to make an equal sign. You're just multiplying everything. 2 times 3 is 6. 1/2 times 1/3 is 1/6. When you're adding 1/2, I'm gonna write it like this, plus 1/3, remember you have to find a least common denominator. So 2 and 3 both go into 6. So I'm gonna make 6 my common denominator. And to go from 2 to 6, what I had to do was multiply by 3. So I'm gonna multiply that by 3 as well. So that's how I got my top number. And remember, 3 over 6 is the same as 1 over 2. So we kept our fraction the same. We just had to make it grow by the, a factor of 3 so that we could have a least common denominator. Same thing over here, 3 times 2 is 6. And then I have to multiply that one times 2 as well, so 1 times 2 is 2. Same thing, 1/3 and 2/6, those are the same. Then I can add them. So 3 plus 2 is 5 over 6. So I know I went through kind of a tedious, complicated way of adding fractions, especially if you haven't done it in a while. So here's your complete diamond problems for, I think this is 1-21. If you need more practice on fractions, make sure you get help from me or whoever your teacher is, because that was way too quick of an explanation. Hopefully that was helpful.